For latest updates and short audio clips, follow us on Instagram, Reading the Author.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast Reading the Author, a unique show where we read authors' mind and not their book. Meanwhile, I truly believe and pray that you and your families are completely safe and healthy as well. Guys, today we have Riya Ramudamu ma'am with us, and she is the author of The Unspoken Emotions. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming on our show. I'm truly grateful कि आप हमारे show पर आए.
Thank you so much, Gaurav, for having me here. It's my pleasure to be a part of your show. Thank you so much.
Likewise, ma'am. So, ma'am, before we get into the podcast and know much more about your book, about your upcoming projects and everything, I would request you to please introduce yourself so that our listeners can know much more about you, and do let us know how you started this writing journey.
All right. So to begin with, I'd like to introduce myself as a teacher. Basically, I'm a teacher by profession, but I love writing. And I published my first book, The Unspoken Emotions, as you already know it. And you mentioned earlier. So very soon I'll be coming up with my other books as well. There are like few upcoming projects that's already in my mind, but haven't got much of a time to work on it, to be honest. So yeah, hopefully I'll be working on that, and you guys will come up. I'll come up with a lot more books for you guys to read with.
Definitely, ma'am. So I'm before, when it comes to this particular book, The Unspoken Emotions, after listening to this podcast, many people will just love to explore and love to just read the book. So when it comes to talking from a new reader's perspective, like what a new reader can expect from this book, can you share some insights?
All right, so I'd like to say, basically what happens is, at times we fail to recognize our emotions, or we fail to, express our emotions or the feelings. So it need not be one particular feeling. It can be any sort of feeling. At times it might be like sadness, excitement, joy, love, no matter what emotions it may be. But, there comes a time where either we fail to express our emotions, or when we don't have anyone to share those emotions, right? So see, I wrote the book because I could see it was my way of introspecting to my feelings. So I simply poured down all the thoughts that was in my mind in my writings. So from the new reader's perspective, and also from the reviews I got from my readers, or the people who read my book, from the reviews and comments that I got so far, basically what they say is like, they can relate themselves to the writings. So yeah, it happens these days, what happens is basically we really get time for ourselves. We really get time to express our feelings, emotions, or at times what happens is, even if you're going through, a crisis, maybe an emotional crisis or mental crisis, but what happens is, because there are so many things that we need to prioritize except for ourselves, right? There's our work, our family, friends, this and that. So at times we don't get time to process our emotions. Let's say you're feeling sad, but you have a lot of things to do and a lot of things to work on.
Exactly.
Right? So except for sitting and like consoling yourself, what you need to do is you need to prioritize other stuff. So yeah, my readers can connect themselves with my words and my writings. So yeah, I'd like to tell them that if you feel alone, like if you feel that it's only you who has been going through that particular emotion, or it's only you that has been struggling or feeling those sort of feelings, I'd suggest them to read my book, and they'll come to know that it's not just them. There are a lot of people all around who feels the same.
Definitely.
Yeah,
in fact, and when it comes to this generation, what I personally feel that we have surrounded ourselves with so much things, so many work, so many hustles, what I can exactly say, that we don't have the exact time to console or heal ourselves. Whenever
true, that's
say,
true.
whatever we are feeling, we have to just wake up, smile. And when it comes to a social media person, or a person who uploads content, or a person who has to go regular to the office, we just have to be on our flow every day. So many
That's
times
so
our feelings
true.
that's get so ignored that it is piled up, and that's something really disheartening, what I feel.
Yeah, and forget about being ignored by someone else. At times we tend to ignore our emotions by ourselves.
True.
That's the worst part, we don't get time for ourselves.
Exactly.
That's how the world works.
So when it comes to you shared that very soon a new book will be released as well. So when it comes to talking from you, a person who have already read your book, so what they can expect as of now, you want to experiment a bit on some other genre as well, or you want to stick to these only? What's upcoming? What's in the pipeline?
I think my expertise, I would say, is human emotions, because that's basically, I tend to call this journal, like from my point of view, it's like the most complex yet the most easy. If we consider, I don't know how to explain it, but like, yeah, it can be the most complex yet the most easiest journal to work on. And yeah, they may expect the same kind of theme, human
Okay.
emotions,
Okay.
because
Okay.
that's what I like dealing with.
Okay, okay, okay. So I'm like, as it was the first book, and you could have chosen some other topics as well. You could have chosen some romance, some crime thriller, some action, and something like that. But
Uh-huh.
when it comes to you, you have chosen particularly this topic. So what was that one thing that drive you that कि नहीं मुझे तो इसी टॉपिक पे लिखना है, मेरी पहली बुक इसी टॉपिक पे
नहीं,
आएगी.
you know, it's like an irony that I never planned to write a book. Okay, I've been talking about this in my previous interviews and my previous podcasts as well. I never thought that I'll be a published poet or I'll be writing a book or anything as such. It's just that, I used to write down whenever I used to feel like writing.
Okay.
To be honest, initially जब मैंने लिखना start किया ना, at that time I didn't even know that I can write. I used to simply jot down the words, and later on when I used to write and stuff, and I shared my writings with a few of my friends, and they were like, okay, why don't you, like, you have that potential in you, why don't you go for something big, like why don't you like publish a book, or why don't you work on it? So that's when it struck my mind, and that's when I realized that, yeah, why not publish a book? I'm already writing, so why not publish a book?
Wow.
So with me, what happens is like, writing, I would say, like, it comes to me. I don't sit and think and write. What happens is something pops up in my mind, and then I write. So that's how it works. So it was not like forced kind of thing. It basically came to me. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, like it is often said, and it's quite true in your case, that creativity is something that follows you. You just can't chase it. So in your scenario, it's
Yeah, that's it.
completely fine. It's completely appropriate, not fine actually. So
Yeah, it is.
when it comes to, ma'am, like most of the authors, like we have been in conversation with more than 220 authors as of now, and what I have personally seen that most of the authors are working towards making their name as a particular brand, or they want to be known or remembered as a certain genre or certain type of author. So when it comes to you, have you ever thought about this personal branding thing, that okay, आज से अगर एक दो साल बाद if somebody have read all my books and they say okay, it's a new book by Riya ma'am, so what exactly in their mind they need to be click कि okay ठीक है, रिया मैम की बुक है मुझे ऐसे मिलेगी, या रिया मैम की बुक है मुझे ये चीजें पढ़ने को मिलेगी. कभी सोचा इस बारे में?
See, I don't know if it is appropriate, if this answer will be appropriate for what you have asked, but I'd rather prefer saying that, see, I'm a very unpredictable person. Okay. So I'd rather say that even my book will be unpredictable, because as I told you already, right, मैं जो भी लिखती हूँ, whatever I write, it's like it basically comes to me, and I don't think and sit and write कि मुझे ये लिखना है, मुझे particular journal में लिखना है, मुझे ये बारे में लिखना है. I never think about that. I never think about that. Okay, it's like it naturally comes to me. I don't know, it simply comes. So I'd say it would be like unpredictable, maybe. Yeah, even for me and even for my readers, what will come next will be more of a, yeah, it will be unpredictable.
But it will be relatable, right?
Yeah, it will be relatable, no doubt. It will be relatable, because it has been, it is something that I have been writing since the beginning. So in future also you can expect the same thing.
Okay. So what I personally can feel that the topic can be different, the content can be something vary from this genre to that genre, but the relatability will be completely, which will hook the audience and the reader and the book, right?
No doubt, without in a second thought, it will be there.
Okay. So I'm like, what I have personally feel that after the first lockdown was over, the numbers of authors got increased very rapidly. Like, there was a boom in this book industry, what I have personally seen. In fact, publishing has become much more easier. KDP, self-publishing house, lots of literary agents are there. So when it comes to you, as you have completed this whole journey, according to you as of now, how hard it has become to make your book stand out in the market? What's your take on this?
Touchwood, for me, it has been like the easy kind of thing, because maybe I didn't expect any outcome from my book. I didn't force myself to do that. Okay, I didn't had any pressure. See, the entire process for me has been for myself. I never took this thing as, from the profit point of view, or like maybe I need to be famous with this, or I need to earn, or anything as such. It was for myself. The entire journey has been about pleasing me and pleasing myself. It has been about me. So I would say like it was a very smooth and like very easy journey for me.
Totally agree on this. Definitely. In fact, what I personally suggest to people that if you are doing it for bread and butter, then it's a completely different game for you, right? But if you're doing it
So true.
for if you're doing it for your passion, like if you want to do it for your soul satisfaction, then कितनी बुक आई, कितनी गई, कौन रिलीज हुई, किसने पढ़ा, किसने नहीं पढ़ा, दैट्स नथिंग मैटर. आपको कोई फर्क भी नहीं पड़ना चाहिए इन सारी चीजों से.
So true, so true. And I believe in that, you know.
हम्म.
क्योंकि जब हम कोई see, एक तो होता है कि आउटकम लेके चलना चाहिए,
हाँ
right?
हाँ
But
हाँ.
there are the things and there are ways and places where you need to think about outcome and you need to work on that. But
हम्म.
certain things, you know, which you do for satisfying yourself, or you know, as मैंने initially आपको बोला था कि I do it because we don't usually get time to deal with our emotions. So
हम्म.
writing for me is the way of dealing with myself and dealing with my emotions. At times it works as a companion for me. जब कोई नहीं होता है बात करने के लिए, जब कोई नहीं होता है जिसके साथ तुम I mean where you can share things with someone, I prefer writing. So for me it has been, you know, like a soul connection kind of stuff. I'd rather say more than a hobby, it is something, you know, which connects me with myself.
हम्म. Definitely,
तो
ma'am.
इसके
So
लिए
definitely,
I'd say
huh?
like
If the purpose is
mm-hmm.
different, then it doesn't matter that what exactly how many books are being published, right?
Yeah, so true.
Okay. So, ma'am, as of now, what's your current writing schedule? Every day you devote some particular hours to your writing, or it's like random? Someday you get some thought, then you just jot it down on your phone on a diary, and after that you elaborate. How does it goes with you?
So true. I
Hmm.
don't have like any particular, you know, time or I
Hmm.
need to sit and write in this time. Because that's not how I work, or that's not how my mind works. So it's rather my like thought pops up in my mind and I'll simply jot it down. Sometimes it will be in my phone, sometimes it will be in my diary, sticky notes, wherever, you know. And sometimes at times, in fact many of times it has happened that कभी कभी रात के 12-1 बजे, whenever you're sleeping, something pops up in your mind and like I have to wake up and I have to jot it down, you know. It's
Hmm.
how it has been. And I don't have any particular schedule or timing for writing. It's
Hmm.
all with the flow.
Okay. Okay. So, ma'am, as of now, like we have talked about your book, about your journey, about your upcoming projects and everything. Now, let's get back to your personal life. Like, there must be a lot of moment which you tag as the happiest moment of my life. So, if you can share any one of them with us, then that would be really great.
um Talking about the happiest moment, I'd
Mm-hmm.
say okay, I don't know how to start, but see, at times for example, let me tell you that the day I published my book, okay, I could have considered it as my happiest day of my life,
Mm-hmm.
but simultaneously there will be other things going on in life, including that thing, right?
True.
We are here, I mean you and me, discussing about this podcast, discussing about my book and stuff. But apart from this, even in your life there are so many things going on, and even in my life so many things are going on simultaneously, right?
So true.
So I wouldn't mention any particular moment as the happiest or the saddest moment. Rather I'd say that it has been, you know, things has been going on consecutively, like all the emotions. Let's not consider one particular day. If we want, we can make every day happier, right?
That's
So let's not focus on one particular.
You know,
Let's not focus. Yeah.
after having conversation with so many people, like, you know, in fact, there's another podcast of mine as well, the MG show, you know, but this is a particular answer that, you know, that it is so balanced that, okay, you can't just describe any one thing at a moment, because there's a lots of thing going on. So this is something which I'm gonna keep from this podcast for myself, you know, because
Thank you so much. I appreciate.
because I'm a kind of person, what I personally feel that I'm a kind of extreme person. If I become sad, then extremely I, you know, just want to go deep down in this sadness, and if I'm happy, I would just so want to just climb the mountains and shout, okay, I'm happy, I'm happy. But you know, eventually it is so perfect that exactly we can't just say that we are happy and we are sad, because so many things are going in and around in our life. And wow, so superb.
Yeah, that's how it
This is
is.
something really amazing from this podcast.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, so ma'am, as of now, like as an author, as a person, what are the things which you are focusing upon in life?
Right now, to be honest, I'm just focusing on loving myself a little more and taking care of myself a little more, you know. And see, I'm a very empathetic kind of person. Most of the times what I've been doing is I've been keeping other people's need or everything above me. whenever I come across someone, or whether it be friends, family, or the loved ones, I always tend to keep their needs above myself. So right now, I'm trying to balance things. Like just like the previous question, I'm trying to balance. Like I'm trying to give importance to others, but not forgetting myself.
Okay.
Giving importance to others as well as me, and balancing things and going forward. Yeah, that's all I'm focusing on right now.
Okay. So let's get back to the time when you heard, okay, tomorrow your book will be live. So on that particular eve, what was going on in your mind? Like, were you relaxed? You excited? You just marked up some milestones? Okay, okay, these many people know me. My book has to be sold out these many copies. What was going on in your mind at that time?
Okay, so I'd like to add something else before answering that question. Okay. So see, I'm a kind of person, like I don't take my achievements as my achievements.
Okay.
I mean, as I told you, like I am trying to love myself, and I'm trying to, take care of myself more. See, at times what happens is I would not say that I've achieved so many things, but yeah, I am doing quite good in my life from my point of view. Okay. But many of times what happens is I fail to, appreciate myself. So see, publishing a book, it can be a very big thing for someone, right? But for me, it was like, there was no sense of excitement before my book was published. Okay. I didn't even think that, okay, my book is going to be published. It is going to be live on this day. And there was no sense of excitement. In fact, I was like numb. It was like the regular normal emotions. But the day it was published and the day I held my book in my hand, and there's the moment when something struck, I was like, I was so glad. That feeling. Okay, I also posted that story saying that it feels like holding my baby for the first time. That feeling was very good.
So when it comes to like probably my last question to this podcast would be like, after listening to this podcast, and many people will just love to start writing, or they must be holding their first draft in their hand, in their laptop, in their diary. So what would be your advice for those upcoming authors?
So I'd like to say, don't write for anyone. Don't write thinking that you're going to be a writer, you're going to be famous, you're going to publish a book. Just start writing for yourself first. If it pleases you, it pleases the world. If it doesn't please you, then there's no way it can please the world, right? So I'd say that just start writing for yourself first, and then the world will obviously love it. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, so that's all for today, guys. I hope you must have enjoyed this lovely and inspiring conversation with Riya ma'am. And if you do, then do follow our podcast, Reading the Author, available on all the leading podcast platforms. And don't forget to buy and read the book. आप just Amazon पे जाएं, वहाँ पे आप सर्च करें रिया रामूदामू, या फिर आप बुक का नाम सर्च कर सकते हैं द अनस्पोकन इमोशंस. ज़रूर खरीदें, पढ़ें और अपने चाहने वाले जानने वालों से ज़रूर शेयर करें. थैंक यू सो मच मैम फॉर कमिंग ऑन द शो. इट वाज माय ऑनर टू बी एबल टू होस्ट यू टुडे.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'd like to say, like, just ignore all the mistakes, or, all the things, all the errors that were there in this podcast, and just focus on the good things, and just focus on the takeaways. Yeah, that's all I have to say. And thank you so much for having me today.
Pleasure.